Hi, welcome to CIOTV. We're here in the bus van Bijlage at CIODAY 2014, made possible by Verizon. And what I have here on the table, I have here Kathie, Miley from Verizon. Welcome, thank you very much for coming here. I'm really excited to have not only grey, black men here on the table, because it's an absolute desert world here in terms of diversity. And we have Pieter Holst from Verizon, the Netherlands. Welcome too. Welcome too. Pieter, welcome too. Kathie, how long have you been into ICT, the ICT world? How did that start, your career?
So I've been in the IT world for about 23 years, but I've spent 14 of that focused in the cybersecurity space.
Yeah, and you first were part of a company which was acquired by MCI.
That's
Which
right.
company was that?
That's right, it was a company called NetSec. We were a global firm that was focused on managed and professional security for cyber organizations. And then we were acquired by MCI in 2005. And then we were acquired by Verizon in 2006, and then we acquired CyberTrust in 2007, and here we are.
Yeah, and you have you're responsible for 800 people who are into cybersecurity. You do sales, and you do engineering.
Yes, yes.
And then what is that? What kind of group is that inside Verizon?
So we're called a subject matter expert team, and our organization focuses on going out and speaking to clients about the global landscape of threats today. Mm-hmm. So we have teams of engineers, teams of salespeople who just work with our clients as their trusted partners to help educate them on what they need to do today to shore up.
800 people.
We have
800
a lot of people.
Yeah, that's a lot of people. And okay, and so then if we talk about, and you're responsible for the sales of that, not the operation, but the sales and the engineering.
Yes.
And in general. When did you get, you were 15 years involved in cybersecurity, so that was around a little bit before 9/11?
Yeah, it was
before it exploded, the interest in it?
Yes, got in there pre-9/11.
Yeah.
So got to understand what the world looked like before and what the world now looks like after. And
was it a big difference?
It was a really big difference. It
Suddenly
really
you
was.
were hot.
Yeah. Suddenly everybody understood what cybersecurity meant. It's really evolved. There's been a lot of changes even post 9/11. It's changing so rapidly now.
911 was more about, planes and physical things. It was not about, I think, NSA and Snowden is more, a real rebirth of the cybersecurity.
Right.
I mean, have you ever had a better salesman than Snowden?
No, it's been pretty good for awareness, actually. So the financial.
So sales must have gone through the roof.
Yeah, well, cyber's been really hot in the financial space for a long time because they have something very tangible to protect. They have your money. And so they always spent more than most other organizations did. But after Snowden, we see the manufacturers, we see the energy departments, we see healthcare, all getting really aware and really vigilant about putting proper security controls in place.
Okay, but you're a big digital pipe, a managed pipe between all kinds of different locations, of which we heard from Pieter. What kind of services can you add to that to basically deal with the most common threat? What are the top 3 common threats, and how do you basically provide services to counter them?
It's good to break in. Every year we give this report.
Yeah.
Bring that out. Maybe we can talk around that one.
Yeah.
Where we signal the threats, the common threats, and we try to categorize
the data breach investigation report. 92%.
And the reason why Verizon does that is that at one moment in time, 70% of all internet traffic will touch a Verizon connection. So we see the breaches under our nose, and we categorize, we make the inventarization, and every year we bring this. And I must say, it is a leading report in the security area on the market, and we show our customers, but also the interested customers, potential customers, what the breaches are and how they can handle that.
9 different threats.
9 different threat types.
Which are basically 92% describe that. And what are some of the most common threats?
Well, we see a lot of web-based attacks, so people going after the applications and trying to reuse credentials or trying to obtain credentials to break into an organization undetected.
Yes.
We see in the financial industry, one of the biggest attacks still is denial of service.
Really?
So that botnet attack base trying to disrupt and take their systems offline. Yeah, so that's still
a classic.
It's still very classic, and it's been ongoing for a couple of years. But a couple other big threats that we've seen evolving into really chaotic problems has been cyber espionage and the nation-state attacks. That's really become something that...
A nation-state attack?
Yes.
What is a nation-state attack?
So those are state-sponsored attacks. So
the Chinese, the Chinese who basically are big in that, or
various
Russian.
different nations who are interested in obtaining information from other governments or obtaining IP from defense contractors or manufacturers that they can then reuse and manufacture in their countries, or just intelligence gathering so that they can at one point in time use that in the future positioning of whatever their agenda
Apart
is.
from China, what are the other two most popular countries who really are good in this?
We see, obviously, Russia is very big in this. And
America?
America is always a great
Number one,
attack vector. So, yeah, it's really a global problem. It's really not one country we can
So
point
basically,
to.
if I don't have a cyber attack state policy, I'm basically not hot anymore. So the Dutch should have a cyber attack state policy, state-sponsored policy to basically investigate and do espionage.
Everybody should. Every government, every corporation, every critical infrastructure needs to understand what threats they're facing
Know what threat
today.
it is, but should they be a threat themselves?
Are you mentioning like create?
Yeah, should the Netherlands just basically have an active cyber spy program so that we basically get all this intellectual property for our own companies?
Well, I think that kind of decision is up to the political agenda of any government.
Yeah, but if you say everybody's doing that.
Well, there are certainly a lot of countries who are engaging in spying.
Yeah.
And so I can't state which countries they are specifically or what their agenda would be or whether one should have one or not, but it's happening.
Okay. What do you see in the Netherlands, Pieter, as the main threats? What we are a tiny, teeny little country. We're not threatening. What is important in our country?
I mean, I know the threats, but I think I asked Kathie to join me today and meet a lot of my customers here at the CIODAY to also create awareness, right? We often do not know, we know we are hit, but we often do not know our governance in an enterprise area, how we can cope with security threats. And that's something we're launching here. We've been launching over the last weeks, and we're launching it definitely today, that we invite customers really at board level to simulate security attacks, for example.
That would be wonderful, to basically hack your way into it and basically show how vulnerable we are.
It's a simulation, and it is great fun to do, because what we then do, we invite a board come together, and we give them a paper that they've been hit, and that maybe one or two plans are out of running order, and they've got an issue. What is then the governance inside a customer, how they will handle such a security threat? That's where it starts, it's awareness. And then from there we take it, and then we identify the gaps, of course, and then we can help enterprises to help get a better security in place.
Because now it is basically security is somewhere, some kind of a function which somebody tries to keep as good as possible. It's not something where people are aware of on the board level.
It's not on the agenda, and it gets on the agenda when you get hit and we get a massive outage, and then you say, wow, I don't have it in place, what's happening? So we try to take a proactive stance here, bring it to the customers already, say, okay, this is simulation, so how are you going to treat it? How are you going to handle it? And then people get awake, then we've got the awareness layer, and then we say, okay, these are your gaps, and then we can work from the gaps on and help them really get the security in order. Because security is something which is a dynamic environment, it continues. Last year we had this report as well, we had different threats. Next year we get other threats, so the threats continue.
Yeah, these are real criminals, right? So this is what we have to make people aware of. These aren't just computers doing random acts of attacks. These are people behind the computers.
Of course,
and so as our defenses evolve, the criminals evolve to find different avenues inside your network or to disrupt your network or destroy your network.
Yeah, well,
so we're always changing.
And for me, as a customer, I basically don't like it if all my credit card stuff and all my information, medical information, so the leakage of personal information, is that? I don't see that in the top 9 things yet, but it's the one we read the most about.
Yeah, so the top 9 things that you're looking at are attack vectors. So how are the criminals getting your personal information?
Yeah.
So the personal information and the credit card numbers are the motivator behind the attacks. That's what they're after. It's not how they're attacking, it's what they're going after.
Okay, but here you have the payment card skimmers.
Yes.
That is one.
That is an attack
strategy.
vector.
That's an attack vector. And the leakage, so that all my personal information is open. Is that an important goal for people? Because I mean, you don't make money by opening it up. A lot of times that's happening because all the systems are leaked. They are just they have bad ICT.
Well, the bad guys want your data,
Yeah.
whether it be your credit card information or your personal information, so that they can commit either credit card fraud or identity fraud. So that's their goal. So they could go and get all your personal information and go buy a house and then sell the house, and they've made a huge profit, and they move on and disappear.
Yeah.
All the while, your credit is suffering from
So
that.
identity theft is a fantastic.
And credit card theft is a huge drain on the economy, because what they do is they come in and they use these cards, and then the banks are held responsible for covering the losses. So it's just systematic and systemic in everything that we do that we need to fix.
You must live in a fantastic growing market. I mean, what is your sales growing 50% a year with this kind of environment?
Well, the market is growing at 19% per year.
19%.
19, but Verizon is experiencing much higher growth than that. So we're very proud of what we put together, because we do things in a very different way. Having global visibility to the information that's traversing our
Because
network.
you see everything
We
that's
see
happening.
everything, right? And so then we can start to provide what we call a kill chain visibility to our customers. We can start to tell you, hey, we know that your systems are speaking to a known bad guy, and here's what you need to do to sever that contact, and here's how you can prevent that from happening in the future.
And is that a service which is provided on a monthly basis, monthly monitoring, and you basically pay a certain fee?
Yes.
And everything which happens on your network, basically you get nicely analyzed in the dashboard?
Correct. That's exactly correct.
Okay, and so you have people who set that up, and you have basically online monitoring. You have all kinds of monitoring centers
Yes.
all around the world,
Yes.
which basically do that for you.
Yes, we have 7 security operations centers around the world, but we can also customize and put security operations on site for customers who don't want their data leaving their actual corporate sites. Or for countries that have data sovereignty issues, we can build those centers specifically in that country so the data never leaves, and then staff it with those citizens of that country, which we do all around the globe.
And you know, Vincent, with the Internet of Things, security will increase and increase and increase. Because what we do, we create IP addresses, we connect to networks, we open, we create more doors to enter into networks. And therefore security will be a remaining hot topic for the next year.
We were joking today this morning at breakfast, and when I was making toast, my colleague said, if that toaster has an IP address, don't put your bread in it. But the joke is that...
No, I just got myself a scale, a connected scale, a connected toothbrush.
Right.
My Tesla is connected, and, and the autonomous driving, and that will be providing much more serious services. So yes, we need security for that.
So it's not only outbound connections that it's making, maybe perhaps sharing your data, but it's an inbound connection that hackers can use to get inside. So, I mean, just think of the home scenario. If somebody wants to break into your home, and now everything is being run through IP-based systems, whether it's your door locks.
It's a dream market,
dream come true.
and it's a dream threat.
But the things with criminals is there will always be crime. So the business of security will always be there. That's why we have police officers, and we have government agents, and we have the military.
And we have digital security.
And we have digital
Congratulations
security.
with a great business.
Thank you.
Pieter and Kathie, thank you very much.
Thank you.
This was CIO TV. We're going to be back with some interesting speakers, so stay here. And thanks to Verizon for sponsoring this TV program. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vincent.